Most people use AI for SEO when it comes to blogs or updating existing pages, but that's backwards. If an AI agent has no context on your search visibility, your website traffic, and what people are searching for, it's just guessing. And we don't want an AI agent to guess. We want an AI agent to actually give us structurally sound advice so we can make informed decisions to hopefully better whatever our business model is. And in this video, I'm going to show you the version of an SEO agent that I use to run my SEO, from backlinks to keyword research to updating content, all through an automation that we build in our Hermes agent. And we're going to showcase how to do that today. Before we even get started, if you are new to SEO, let me just give a brief 2-minute run through on SEO 101. Number one, I always believe, as someone who's been doing SEO for now 7 years, I believe that SEO is one of the first things every new business should go after, especially businesses with not much funding, because it is one of the best ways to get traffic to your website for free. There's a lot of people always pushing paid traffic, but this is the version that you can dominate organically and you can get better results if done correctly. And if Google rewards your pages, adding in paid search down the road is just going to enhance the overall life cycle of getting leads for your business. SEO also is so big because it shows the buyer's demand in search. Search in AI and Google, wherever the engine may be, is where we can find our demand. And we want to make sure we're showing up where there is demand. Visibility can compound over time, which is one of the easiest and best things you can do. And guessing creates content nobody needs. We don't want to guess on pages that we think our target audience wants. We only want to create content that we know people want because they're showing up in search. So there's going to be 3 factors that you want to go after: search visibility, which you can get from Google Search Console; visitor behavior, which you can get from analytics, or you can get from paid tools like analytics; and search demand. This is going to be the one tool that you will need in this workflow. I use DataForSEO, which I'll show right here. This is an easy, great tool that it's really built for MCPs. So it's really designed to be easy access for AI agents, and it's going to give you all the same information that you could have gotten from a more expensive Ahrefs or even like a SEMrush. We've all heard of these, I'm sure. The thing about these tools is they're much more expensive and they were designed for really the end user like us, but we won't be doing that. Our AI agent is going to be the one going in. Honorable mentions as well. SE ranking, I've heard great things about, and I have not personally used them, but I think they're a great alternative to DataForSEO. One thing to keep in mind about these tools is they're relatively cheap because they are not really a SaaS forward company. They're more just giving the AI agents the information we need. They're not as expensive as the Ahrefs and SEMrush, so that's a great thing. All 3 of these items that are going to be needed in SEO and we're going to talk about in this video, they're all going to go to your SEO agent. And this SEO agent is obviously going to be able to compare the evidence between these 3, and it's going to choose a property. Once it has enough evidence, like is there demand here? Is there search volume? Is it competitive? Is it too competitive? It's going to be able to make a decision. Yes, let's draft either a page or update a page, or no, hold on, collect the data. And that's really the ultimate kind of example of what you want for your SEO agent to do. But now let's talk about breaking it down, showcasing what it does and how to build it. I'm going to showcase it in my Hermes agent right here, which is an example. So Commonhouse, which is our website, which actually by the time this updates, we're doing a total revamp on the page. So this is going to look different, but we run an AI automation agency. We run our entire SEO workflows through this website. So we're going to give an example from my Hermes agent that is already built on this workflow on how this is going to go down. So really all I'm asking for is to pull the Commonhouse Search Console and GA4 snapshot from July 5th, plus the July keyword research. Compare the homepage and agency page and decide which pages deserve attention first. Return one public safe SEO opportunity. Now, while I wait for this to get a response, we use Hermes agent for ours, and I obviously have a lot more crons running in the background of this. And if you don't know what a Hermes agent cron is, it's essentially a repeatable task that it can do consistently for you. The numbers are low. We just launched this website, not really worried about it. I just want to show that the workflow works though. So we're able to pull the data that we have, right? We're able to pull that June 6th to July 5th homepage at 21 all-channel landing sessions. Homepage alternatives were 1,300 searches with difficulty of 38 and 1,000 for a difficulty of 26. So the agency had materially stronger external demand, but no stronger first-party proof. So this is great tangible information for me because I can now make an executive decision. Now it recommends to hold the content change, and its confidence is because it's coming on medium on keyword opportunity and low on the actual inquiry impact. So I basically told it that our recommendation is that you use this strong external keyword signal, but very little first party page or query data, which is true. It said that at the top. So does this really justify changing the agency page or only justify a measurement of a diagnosis step? So I basically challenged it just for the sake of this video, and the result was revised verdict, measurement and diagnosis only. External demand makes this agency page worth investigating. In case you guys are wondering, this is the agency page we're talking about. It's worth investigating, but does not justify changing the page, because with SEO, you don't want to be making a ton of changes because that's how you eventually never grow. And really why I challenge this back is because we don't want AI agents just to feel like they need to do busy work, so always making changes, because I've seen in my past that is something they like to do. So it's okay for you to push back on them. That's the biggest problem with some of these modern day frontier LLMs, is that they gaslight a little too much. They're a lot of yes men, and I don't really like that. So you also need to know a good amount about SEO. And if you're watching this video, you probably do. You just want to automate a lot of this. So feel free to push back, because especially with Hermes Agent, it will get trained on and it will get better. It will improve because of its memory. And that's one thing that is why I prefer Hermes over any other agent harness. And going back to this board, this is sort of why we have this human approval right here, is because it gave us an output, but ultimately we are the business owners, the founders. We have to make that decision. So that's why I think it's important to push back based on the evidence you got. What's important is it did everything it needed to do from this perspective, and then the SEO agent gave us basically what it thought was the best outcome based on the data, and we can then read all of that. We have a much better starting point versus what the alternative is. You have to manually go in, pull all this data, somehow organize it, then make executive decisions for yourself, or you have to pay an SEO agency to do this. This is going to help eliminate a lot of that, and everything gets shoveled right to your front door. You can then make a decision. Now, keep in mind also, this is, I prompted a lot of this, but you can set up the crons according to how you want the best information. Now that we've seen a basic example of how the workflow can pull all the data, give you an output, and then you make the decision, I'm going to show you now how I recommend building out weekly and daily and even monthly crons to set yourself up for success for your SEO workflow. So we already talked about the data inputs. We know everything over here on the left. Keep in mind, the one addition over here is the keyword plan. I highly recommend building an internal database for your brand or your sitemap on the keywords you are targeting for every single page, and then having your agent update that like an internal database. You can use Google Sheets or Excel, or you can build your own internal SaaS if you really want to get fancy with it. I think this is going to be best for a viewpoint for yourself. And then if also you happen to have to report to people, you can easily show this data to them. But also I think it's very important for you yourself to get in there, see what has progressed over time, and go from there. So as you're building out a website, you're starting from scratch. You're obviously going to have your home page, then you're going to have your product page, your industry pages, and all your use case pages that you want to build out to target the demand necessary for your target audience. Each page, you're going to be targeting 2 to 3 keywords. Log this in that database that I talked about and have a plan in place. You're going to be building this with an agent regardless, so it's going to know this. So when you originally are getting started, prompt this. The goal is to deliver these website pages that's not only to be CRO optimized, but to be SEO and GEO optimized. And with that being said, we're going to monitor all the keywords on here and go from here. So I have a weekly opportunity brief that hits. I think it hits on Wednesday. And what it does is basically just compares the demand, the visibility, and then the visitor behavior that we have. And then it's going to return up to 5 evidence-backed candidates. So in this weekly opportunity brief, it always hits me. So like I wake up, I think it hits around 7 a.m. and I see the opportunities already, and it's all evidence-backed. So once your website is up and running, we can see, oh, the agency page or the home page has kind of dialed back a little bit. Like we were growing in organic traffic and now we're not. And we noticed the keywords we're targeting got much more competitive. Now you have an opportunity to either pivot, change the keyword to something not as competitive, or just bolster the content on the page to try and stay relevant with the competition. This opportunity that you have can be automated straight to you every single morning or weekly or monthly, whatever the case may be, and you can make sound decisions based off of it. You then obviously are going to have your approval gate, which I highly recommend, but then you're going to have your agent, which I use Claude for this, to then draft and test the pull request, owner's review, and then you're going to obviously merge it. And once it's then making decisions and it's actually creating content changes, which is a lot going to get done in here, you're then going to have a 42 to 48 day measurement watcher. That's kind of the sweet spot with SEO. You need to give it some time, especially when it comes to indexing. It could take up to 2 weeks to index sometimes. But if it's a blog post, for example, once it's published, you want to compare that search visibility, the visits, the actions, and the indexing. Classify if it's a winner, if it's a watch, a retarget, or a retire. And that's how I operate on this. And this really circles back to the weekly opportunity brief. This is going off of this 42 to 48 day measurement, if that kind of makes sense. It all comes back in a life cycle. So once you get it rolling and you set this up, it's going to be never ending, but it's automated at your front door. And then the last thing I do from Search Console is simply a weekly Google Search Console health check, which is really just making sure all my pages are indexed, sitemaps good to go, robots, visibility health, any report issue. This is really a simple one to do, but it's easy because you can plug in through API Google Search Console and really make sure everything's intact. Sometimes Google will throw pages off, you'll get errors, and if you're not checking your emails or even getting alerts, you're never going to know, and that page is losing credibility fast, which is affecting your domain. You want to make sure you're on this alert as well, so build your own cron for that. So in a nutshell, this is how I operate my recurring crons for Commonhouse, but I highly recommend building this out before you even get started on a website. Building this database before you start getting started on your website is going to be critical, because as you're going through building pages, you're going to be led by where the demand is. So you might not know where to go, but if you instill this process beforehand, it's going to guide you. Your AI agent is going to know the demand is coming from here because of your target audience. Let's build a page targeting this. You can add it to your sitemap, add it to your plan, build out the content, front end design, and go from there. How I typically do things is I've already built the workflow to understand and basically enter an SEO mindset for that agent. When that agent is either A, building a new page, or B, updating an existing page, and we've made the decision, I then take the wireframe from it because it knows how to wireframe based off CRO and SEO, GEO optimize. And then I take it in the Claude design, front end design it, and then I take the HTML, CSS, send it up to my hosting provider and publish it. And once it's up there, I then have my SEO agent, once again on Hermes, then does an audit on the page, needs to add anything in the back end from schema, internal linking, etc. And then it's going to make sure it is sitemapped indexed. It's very important that you do that. And I believe if you're doing this to get started with things, it's the best way to build out a website, and it's going to lead to ultimate organic success for you and your business. Now, when it comes to how to build this and connect all this, that's not really what this video is about. It's just the actual SEO workflows. But if you are using Hermes Agent to get started, I recommend getting it established first. And then once it is established, or if you're just using a regular Codex or Cloud Code situation, whatever your OS is built on with your files and markdowns, you need to make sure you establish this, and it will help you connect the proper APIs. You really just got to connect it to GA4, Google Search Console, and then your SEO tool, which I recommend DataForSEO or SE Ranking and other ones. It will show you how to connect all those, so I don't need to show that in this video, but once it's all connected, then start building out your recurring crons or however else you want to connect files from your target audience, demand, etc., and then let it ride. And this is really why an SEO agent shouldn't be asking you what pages to build. It should know based off of the traffic and the demand that is coming in. And that's why you're going to make sound decisions better. If you do this correctly, you will see a drastic improvement on your SEO side for your business. And not only that, you'll probably save a ton of money not being with an SEO agency because they're all doing the same thing basically. And then additionally, you will be getting an efficient manner of how this comes through through, and you're going to have real control of what's coming in, what's coming out, and you'll understand, because that's the most important thing. If you don't understand this, it's going to be really hard to execute on it. If you like this video and you learned something, a simple thumbs up goes a long way in the YouTube algorithm, so I'd really appreciate it. And if you have questions or comments or something I didn't really touch on, please leave a comment below. I try to answer all the comments and help people, and it also helps give me new video topic ideas, so I really appreciate it. But that's what we have for SEO workflow. Appreciate it, guys, and we're on to the next AI agent workflow.